Okay, it's Bobby. Hey everybody, it's Bobby. I hope you had a great weekend. It was certainly beautiful here in Horseshoe Bay on both Saturday and Sunday, and I'm excited to get this week started. To do so, let's talk about the flyer. And there are two things that are separate in meaning. You have a flyer lie, that is a lie that will lead to a flyer shot, and then that's the second thing you have, a flyer shot, one that actually flew on you. Oh, that ball flew on me. I hit a flyer. And this is typically the affliction of the better player, and I'll explain in a moment why. And what happens is you've got your 140 club out, and because you have some grass around the ball, not deep in rough, but some grass around the ball, it's sitting in rough, that prevents you from getting much backspin. And what's the ball do? It pinches out of here and sort of knuckle balls, and then it has no stopping power. So your 140 club might end up going 160 or 165 yards. And so that's why it's better, really, to be in the fairway if you can, because backspin has a very steadying effect on the flight of the ball, and you want to throw darts into greens that will pull up quickly after landing. However, sometimes a flyer can be advantageous. I remember playing in a tournament 20 years ago or so, and having 265 yards into a par 5, and I was in rough about like this. And there was a lake near the green, so I wanted to stay away from that lake and not be aggressive, so I just hit a 4-iron, thinking I'd be 50 yards short. Well, boy, that thing flew on me, and when I got up there, I was just a foot off the green on the side of the green on the fringe. And that's 265 yards that 4-iron went, and I would have needed, had I been in the fairway, I would have needed at least a 3-wood, and likely wouldn't have gotten it there. And so sometimes you can hit the ball with prodigious length with an iron without even meaning to. Now, why is it that this is the affliction of the better player? Well, because the better player comes down into the golf ball different than the struggling player. And let me tell you what I mean. Someone who hits properly out of the rough and is subject, therefore, to a flyer lie that creates a flyer shot is someone who gets that club to parallel on the downswing while the club is inside their body and low. Look at this. This is where I want to be if I'm a sophisticated ball striker. That creates descent down into the ball, and that's what creates that powerful pop and might make you hit somewhat of a flyer lie. And I can tell you that 9-iron just went 15, 20 extra yards, and it's gonna tumble even after it lands. That creates a flyer. I hit the ball and then the ground, and that happened because when my club everybody's club at some point in the downswing gets to parallel. The only question is, where is it in relation to your body when that happens? What I'm trying to get across today is I want that to happen when it's in between my two legs and low. The struggling player, the one who never has a flyer, can't understand how anybody could hit the ball farther out of the rough. In fact, the rough typically costs them distance, is the person who comes to parallel when the club is still right of their body and quite high. Again, I want it in between my two legs and low. They're reaching that in this position. So what happens, they start doing battle with blades of grass long before they get to the ball. A divot is an impossibility, at least one on the forward side of the ball. And so for them, they're struggling. And so what's the deal? Well, number one, I wanted to outline what a flyer is. And number two, I wanted to mention why it is that the better player is subject to them more often. And so if you are someone who doesn't feel like you can get as much out of the rough as you can the fairway, then I suggest you do what you can to try to get this point at which the club is parallel, somewhere between your two legs low and not right of your body and high. That will add some real pop to your shot and help extricate you from the rough. I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you next week.